the channel and thanks for tuning in. For the new guys here, we are the SA Equestrian and we support our riding schools during this COVID-19 lockdown. Since you guys know, if you guys don't know yet, we are going into stage 4 today. So this means actually stage 5. The riding schools in South Africa are still closed, so we decided to launch this four-part series that will help some of our riding schools to get some tips and tricks out there and to save some money out, because most of our riding schools are really tempted at the moment and they are really struggling to keep their heads above water. So stay tuned and let's take it from there. Hope you enjoy the show. Guys, so we're going to go into our first subject, which is grazing and sectional grazing. So what sectional grazing is you will divide the grazing that you currently have into sections, obviously, and then you will divide your herd into those sections. So most of us will do the most logical thing and put all of our horses in one section and develop the other sections. So to develop your other sections of grazing will take some time, but it is all worth it in the long run. So what we did on the farm is we'd use the manure and then we would mix our grass seedlings into the manure. So because it is now time for our grass to sprout, it is quite easy to get grass seeds for free. If you do it the right way, you can go and pick some grass seeds off your grass that are currently growing. If you have pastures that do have long grass, that really works well. Other than that, you can go to your local hardware store and get yourself a bag of grass seeds, mix it in with your manure and wait for it to process a bit. As soon as you know that you're in the process of getting it into a compost compound, then you can start spreading it. But please guys, take this into consideration. You need that manure to dry out first before you spread it. So ask your groom to go and make some holes in the other pastures that are not currently being used. It's basic pitchfork holes. It doesn't have to be huge holes, it's small little holes. Go make those holes and then start spreading your manure. You don't have to spread your manure very thick, because it will smother, as it is not really a compost, but it can work and it does work well if it's done right. So then spread your manure, your dry manure which is crumbled up and mixed with your seedlings, spread them nicely and evenly on the ground, and then start with your watering regime. These guys don't water during the day, water at night or early mornings, as your grass will not have time to take up all that nutrients it needs when you water during the day, as the sun will evaporate most of the water. So, and please keep in mind, if you do have grazing that has a lot of trees in them, you will have to trim those branches, as your grass will need some sunlight to grow. You can keep an eye on your pastures, and as soon as you see that your grass is sprouting and it's growing nicely and you have it going, you can start moving your horses through sections and get a plan into place which will work for you and your grooms to get your horses grazing on a specific section for a specific period of time, and from there on you can literally just water and sustain the rest of your grazing. Okay, so our next subject is diet and fiber. This is quite a sensitive subject for most equestrians in South Africa, since we have such a wide variety of pre-mixed foods here. I can't really force you to change your feeding regime, but there is scientific proof that a horse's stomach can only take up this much of food at a time. So feeding your horse large amounts of feed in the morning and in the night, like twice a day, is not sufficient. Your horse will be wasting nutrition and it will be wasting whatever it doesn't take in at that stage. So I would cut down on my premixed foods completely, and I will get myself something that is more affordable in the sense that it will last a bit longer. So there is products on the market that you can use in smaller amounts, which will reduce your cost in buying premixed foods. There's so many brands of premixed foods out there which I cannot say any names currently on, but it is a situation where they are what they eat. So if you are going to buy premixed food and you are going to go the cheaper route, by all means, just remember one thing: if you're going to buy cheap for your horses won't perform, or you won't get the result that you want. So if you are on a premixed food, that's perfectly fine, but I'd substitute at least half of that food for lucerne or oats or something sustainable that will last you longer and that you can buy in bigger amounts. So it'll make it easier for you to manage your horses. And the second thing I'd like to mention is getting yourself a cheap kitchen scale. Look, if you don't want to measure out your food, by all means, but it's really ridiculous thinking that all food weigh the same. They don't. If you have a 500 gram bucket and you scoop every day and you say, okay, this is my 500 gram bucket or this is my 300 gram bucket and that's how much my horse gets, go and weigh out, test it for yourself, and you'll clearly notice that no food, whether you buy it from the same supplier, whether it's the same food, it never weighs the same. So you will have to get yourself a kitchen scale to get your ratios corrected and to know that what you are putting into your horse is actually what you are getting out as well. So the best option here is to weigh out your food and get a food, even if that food that you purchase is three times the price of a normal feed bag, and or normal premixed food, that bag would last you, let's say, 3 to 4 months. So get a sustainable food that that you can use on a frequent basis and that will last you more than a month, rather than buying premixed bags that last you only a month. So if you have ponies that you need to feed, don't send them to the slaughterhouse like everyone's doing. I see it on Facebook everywhere. Everyone's sending their horses or ponies to the slaughterhouse. Don't do that. There are ways of feeding your horses. Your horse does not rely on premixed food. Premixed foods do not keep them fat. It's grass and it's forage and it's grain, and that is the little stuff that keeps them fat. So I would extend my grazing hours immensely, and I would then, in my personal opinion, since I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, did have a library yard, did have a riding school, also went through huge financial troubles, and that is what we did. I went and I looked at food that will last me longer than a month, whether I had to buy directly from the farmer or directly from the supplier. I would rather do that, pay 400 or 500 rand a bag of food and know it will last me more than a month, and you'll buy only that much food 1 month at a time and it will last you. So I'd probably cut my intake. Let's say I buy 4 or 5 bags of premixed food for my ponies a month. I would buy 1 bag of premixed food and I'd cut that more than half and feed my ponies about 300 grams of food a day. The rest will be foraging and grazing. So I would cut down on all my other feeding supplements and everything, and I would rather let them graze and get some grass in their bodies. That is something that is very palatable, and it is something that they actually have in the wild, which makes them fat. So please get that thought out of your mind that when you buy premixed food, your horse is going to pick up weight. It's not true. Your horse picks up weight depending on their diet, yes, but you have to remember that foraging and grass should be the higher or the most amount of, or the biggest percentage of their diet. Okay guys, so the last subject we're going to cover is herbs. I am not for herbs and I'm not against it at all, so I'm lying somewhere in between. But I have used herbs before, and I know of a few supplements that you can keep around the yard that will support your horse when needed and will boost some immunity. Garlic is one of them. I know there's a lot of people that are against it and a lot of people that are for it. Garlic is high in vitamin C, it repels the flies, and it is a really good blood cleanser. So it's something that you can consider giving all of your ponies, and you give a very small amount, so a pack of garlic powder will last you more than a month. And then the other herbs, if I look to the screen to the right please, or left, I don't know which side you guys are seeing me from, but don't take offense, It's merely the fact that I've got my herbs names written on the side here. So the other herb that I did use was milk thistle during biliary time, and when you have your ticks that are quite active. This milk thistle supports the liver functions, and it really works. And please guys, remember, it doesn't work overnight, but the milk thistle really supported my mare when she got biliary, and she gets it every year, unfortunately. So I've always got a stock of milk thistle. So when you want to support your horses or your pony's liver, milk thistle is the way to go. And then the other thing that I did use was devil's claw for pain management and as an anti-inflammatory, but that's also just a temporary solution. It's not a quick fix. So if you know that your horse has some sort of inflammation somewhere, and you know you can support it or support its body and give it a supplement to support it, then yes, devil's claw would be the definite route to go. There is a load of other herbs out there that you can use, and that is very good for immune boosters and to keep around the yard. That will cut your cost also almost in half if you take out all the other supplements. So I have attached the list down below. You can download it and check it out. But please guys, remember, when you do call your vet out and there is something really wrong with your horse, please specify which herbs they are on, as some of these herbs can clash with a treatment protocol or a medication that your horse might need, that the vet needs to administer. So please specify to your vet, listen, that my ponies are on these supplements daily, these herbs daily. Remember, in the wild, that is what they use for themselves to get healthy. So it's quite a natural thing to do, but going natural and going holistic is not a quick fix. It's a long-term approach, and it's something that doesn't happen overnight. It takes about 4 to 5 days for any herb to actually work in the system. Another thing you have to remember is you cannot introduce any herbs to your horse on a big scale. You have to start small, and then you can gradually increase what you are adding to their feed. You can't just throw in a pack of milk thistle or whatever into their food and expect it to work. You will toxify their bodies completely, especially our commercialized ponies today. They are not used to this. They are not used to actually foraging for their medical needs. So if you do want to go that route, it is inexpensive. It is not as expensive as getting a vet out, but please guys, do not take it as a fix. No, there's no scientific proof that herbs fix it, or you can use it as a complete medicinal way to treat something, or some sicknesses or some bacteria or viruses. There will be times that you will have to get your vet out. In those cases, please specify to your vet what you have your ponies on currently and what herbs you are using and why. They most likely would know what to give and what not to give. Okay guys, so we've come to the end of our first episode of our 4-part series. I hope you enjoyed the tips and tricks, and I hope that you will be able to adapt it and to take it or adopt it and take it and implement it at your yard to help you save some money each month. You are welcome to tune in for our next episodes, where we will be discussing tick control, fly sprays, and a load of other stuff to save some money and help you to get your riding school up and running again when this lockdown is over. So we are all rooting for the riding schools and our smaller riding schools out there. We know you can do it. Just push through a little bit. Don't give up yet. We will get through this whole situation. So let's say, see you next time, guys.